Welcome, and thank you so much for being in our podcast, Invisible Reality, Mr. Yuvraj. I'm not going to talk about your background so much because I want you to talk about you so people can know who this wonderful, amazing person. I'm your student, just for the audience to know. Can you tell us about your journey? What I did little research on Google and I found that you studied biology,
Microbiology.
microbiology. Yeah. So, how did you go from microbiology to becoming one of like a global top hypnotherapist?
Firstly, thank you, Reem, for having me on this podcast. And it gives me one more opportunity, which I think is sent by the universe to perhaps explain people through my own journey how life is much bigger than what they think it is.
Mhm.
Because in reality, from the time we are born, because of our conditioning, our upbringing, our expectations, our culture, we have a life, we plan a life that I'm going to become so and so, that I'll do this and that I'll do this. It's a part of our drama. And I probably will be one of those classical species or specimens which proves to you that life happens in the background when you're
Mhm.
busy making plans for it. So where I am now is 100% what I had planned to be ever. So that's the first thing out of the way. This is not the result of a very studied MBA approach to getting to where you're supposed to be in life. Cutting a long story short, I come from a family of doctors. I should have ideally been a medical doctor as per my own rationality and logic, and everything was primed to that. But again, the universe has a peculiar way of bringing you where you're supposed to go. So, in the moments in my examinations where I should have actually done extreme level because I was a very brilliant student, in all the exams that really counted to enter medicine, I didn't get the right marks. And I was a very precocious, knock yourself in the butt kid. Like I knew I was good and I was very good. I was one of the few people who filed a case against the government for incompetent examiners of the papers. So I was that bad in my heydays. But anyways, well, life has a habit, as I told you. And I was very obsessed with getting on to oncology because
Mhm.
when I was growing up, cancer was a very big dreaded disease. My uncle was a cardiologist, grandfather was a GP. So we grew up with medicine. And that was my big fascination. But anyway, medicine didn't happen. And so then I said, okay, let me try and pursue microbiology and then go into genetics. And, through that route, was planning to come to the States to study. Well, I got into it. And then, strange turn of events, I decided to get married very early. So education took a back seat and you need to earn money. I took up a job. And then from there, I went into stockbroking. So it's a very fortuitous
Yes.
events. And then about 30 years back, 32 years back, I lost a lot of money in the markets, a lot of it. And this is though after microbiology, I had a degree in business management as well. I had a gold medal in my subjects. And so again, to lose this kind of money was technically like impossible. But by then I figured out that my life was not about the logic. It was about the illogical. Things went happening that were not illogical. And I had no clue why that was happening.
Uh,
And then 8 years of wilderness till in 2002, somebody suggested that, maybe you should meditate to try and find some answers because very obviously you're not getting answers outside your system. So maybe the answer lies inside your system. And
Okay.
that's when I went for a random meditation class. I didn't have a therapist, but I did start to go back in time on my own with a voice in my head that just said, it's now time. And then I went through a series of regressions that lasted for about 3 hours. This is me with me. And it completely explained to me the logical reason of why I was going through what I was going through.
Oh my God.
Also, a born congenital heart issue case, and I'm supposed to be on medication for the rest of my life. And when I came out of that process, that same voice in my head also said, you can get your heart checked. It's got sorted out now. Time is done. It's almost like you've served jail time into inverted
Oh
commas.
my God.
And sure enough, that echo 2D revealed no prolapse. Heart valve was absolutely fine. Within 3 months, one of Mumbai's top builders came to buy my property. I got the money, I paid people, and I figured out that it's all in my head. My entire life is in my head. It's in my mind, not anything back out there. And well, the same voice also guided me saying, your teacher will come because you will take this global. And in the year Sunny Saturn came, hypnotherapy happened. This is just,
Wow.
so I
That's
know,
cool.
weird, but it is
It's
what.
it's weird, but it's we hear about a lot of like miracles happens, but when you see someone like I've seen you, it's for me it's like I have goosebumps because this miracle I've seen it. I know that person. Yeah,
I
and
understand that
meditation.
feeling. It's quite bizarre. It's like
Yes.
even I don't have an answer to that. But yeah, that's just how life is. And
Yeah.
strangely, when I started to work with hypnotherapy, I started attracting clients with cancer. That was
Oh,
the
that's
funny
awesome.
thing. And I started developing protocols using the mind to work with it, and I started to get reversals. And that explained to me how my childhood focus was not wrong. It's just that I didn't know the route that was best meant to get
Yeah,
healed.
you didn't know the pathway that meant for you. So another question, what inspired you to establish EKA, the Integrated Clinical Hypnotherapy Foundation, and how do you see it grown over the years?
Okay. So once my teacher came, I studied hypnotherapy. He was from Irvine, California, and which is why my circuit with California comes a whole
Yes.
circle when I come back to this town. And I got very popular as a therapist, very fast, very popular. So I think I never got into any marketing. Somebody sought me out. That person gave me two references. The two gave me four, four gave me eight, eight gave me 16. It was like a
Word of
joke
mouth.
progression, word of mouth, complete word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I think within about 3 months of getting certified, I had a wait list that would be like 3 months, 4 months, and I was doing 8 to 10 cases a day. So that is
Wow.
where I was. Within about 2 years, I was, well, literally, with God's grace, you could say the Brian Weiss of the East in terms of just the number of people I was doing regression therapy with. And then, strangely, this was again a very weird episode in 2006, my first trip to Dubai. And somebody called for an appointment, and, this was June, and the earliest slot I had was January of next year. And, you have this very subtle altruistic ego that makes you feel great that you're so much in demand.
Yeah.
And I was standing with a few people, and then somebody asked me there, so what's your trip? What are you trying to do? So,
Mm.
like, you want to be the Brian Weiss of the East? And then I very altruistically mentioned, no, I'm here. I'm doing this to uplift consciousness on earth. And then that person very jokingly said, but Yuvraj, how many people will you heal in your lifetime? And I actually took a calculator and I did math that if I do 10 cases a day, so many new cases, so many follow ups, if I worked for so many years, and I came to the princely figure of 32,000 odd people that I would heal in my lifetime till I reach. And then the discussion went into, why don't you focus on creating 32,000 people who can do the kind of work that you're doing? Because when they touch 32,000 people each, you'll touch 10 million lives.
Exactly.
And if
Yeah.
you touch 10 million lives, maybe something on earth will shift. May. And that was the start of the training protocol,
Yeah.
which EKAA is now spearheading. So that was my focus. And then my mission and vision is, as I started to understand this, then every family at least needs one person who knows how the human mind works. So
The
one,
crazy person who's but it's the
yeah,
wise person.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to believe, Reem, but I've seen this n number of times. One person understands this, and suddenly in a year or 2 years, the whole family dynamic,
Shift.
everybody starts to shift, everybody changes. So then that just told me that, yeah, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's it.
I'm glad someone like said that word and discuss it with you because if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be here today.
I totally get that. And that's why I say, no, the universe works in strange ways. So
Yes,
what it
that's
is.
true. For those unfamiliar, could you explain what hypnotherapy is and how it works? Because before I got into hypnotherapy, I thought go to sleep, like and you control them. And that's the stigma out there.
Absolutely. So that was also one of the bigger challenges for me coming from India and the East, where the darker side of hypnotherapy was very prevalent. You can't call it hypnotherapy, you would call it hypnosis, which is a
Yes.
state, because
Yeah.
hypnotherapy is doing therapy in that state. So to begin with, globally, there are two routes of going into an altered state of awareness. Hypnotherapy or hypnosis is an altered state of awareness. By and large, as humans, we understand two states: a state where we are fully awake, which is
Which
where
is
you and I are right now, and a state in which we go to sleep, which is in the night. When our awareness goes to sleep, our senses shut off, but our body is working. Our
yes.
body doesn't shut off, because if that shuts off, then it's game over.
Yeah.
You have to check out of this planet.
Yeah.
So we have these two states. In both states, body is working, but when we are awake, the mind, the conscious mind is awake. When we
Yes.
are sleeping, the conscious mind is sleeping. Hypnosis is a third state of awareness in which we put the body to sleep, but we keep the mind awake. It's a state that happens naturally to every human at least twice a day. When you're about to go to sleep and when you're about to wake up, like half an hour before sleeping. And when you wake up, when your hands and legs are a bit numb, you're awake but not awake. That is the state. It is a natural state. So when we work with hypnotherapy, we induce that state in clinical setup.
Oh,
In the Eastern side, there are ways to do this bypassing the free will of a person, which is where the misuse comes from, which
okay.
means you could get hypnotized without your will and stupid things happen, very obvious. And then you have the Western side, which Brian Weiss pretty much espouses, and the whole West espouses, that is into the clinical applications of hypnosis, where we don't work and we cannot work with people unless they're willing.
Yes.
Where we go and what we teach is only for willing people, where if you are fine with it, and of course the session is recorded, you remember everything that happens in the session, but we put the body to sleep. And how we know that is there are physiological shifts that happen. Your eyeballs roll up, you can't open your eyes. So you know that your body is in a different state. But mentally, you are awake. And that gives us access to work with the subconscious mind. So the entire approach here basically is to see the mind and the body as two sides of the same coin.
Hmm.
The mind is the invisible body, the body is the visible mind. What starts at one influences the other.
The other. Yeah. That's awesome. Can you share some remarkable cases of success in your work, in your practice?
Okay. So by and large, when I got into hypnotherapy,
Cancer in the beginning,
yes, of course.
cancer people.
In general, people's opinion, which is now majorly upgraded, they still see it as a science to heal behavior, mental issues, like, for example, confidence, procrastination, weight loss, smoking cessation. These are the common applications that people are aware about behavioral management. But for me, somehow, I landed up attracting people with physical issues where the world of modern medicine would pause.
Mhm.
So we were never a replacement for modern medicine. Modern medicine is a great science, does amazing stuff. Our longevity on the earth has gone up because of the interventions of science. But doctors themselves understand that they don't have the complete model in hand. Because
Yes.
if they did, there wouldn't be a single failure. For the degree of
Exactly.
advancement that we have in modern medicine, all cases would be super success, which is not how it is. And that's because the mind is playing a huge role in the background.
Mhm.
So the mental state by which you go into this. So I started personally attracting students or rather clients with physical issues where modern medicine would raise hands. Like you have hypertension, for example, you're going to take medication for the rest of your life,
Mhm.
or you have diabetes, you have these chronic lifestyle diseases,
Yes.
which medicines don't reverse. They help you to manage or sustain.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is where I realized that if you made the right interventions and you found what was stuck in their mental makeup, that kept them stuck with the disease, and if you worked through the mental makeup of being stuck and got them unstuck in their minds, the body had the natural capability to get unstuck. And this is from where we started to get resolutions, in chronic issues. And here, chronic issues mostly are your things to do with hypertension, lifestyle, diabetes, cancer, which are all known
Mhm.
chronic problems. They're not like influenza
No,
or,
it's not
when it's
acute. Yeah.
spike and it goes off. So
Yeah.
this is where hypnotherapy came in. And I think our decision to focus on the medical aspect of it uh,
Yeah.
got more and more prominent. Of course, strangely, maybe since you talk about great cases, cancer was a great one. I think that's also a case that my trainer and student in US has interviewed the same person, Dr. Sonia Gupte, somebody you're very familiar with. She comes here, she represents EKAA in the US, and she's also interviewed this person. This was a medical doctor's case who came to us with breast cancer stage 4, and she was
Much.
pretty young, which is, as it is, a paradox, because breast cancer is not something you develop early in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a medical doctor, had it in her 20s, and it was a single session reversal. I know it's a little absurd, almost like a miracle, but it took us in the session into a different lifetime where there was pretty serious energetic work that had happened in a different life. And we reversed that. I gave her a protocol to follow, and within 3 weeks, we had 13 tumors disappear, which is almost impossible. 13 tumors in both breasts, having reversed no metastatic tissue left in.
So that remind me of something. Couple of months ago, I saw an interview for a very famous oncologist in Saudi Arabia.
I see.
So the interviewer is asking him, "Have you seen any like strange cases?" And he's like, "Well, I remember one case that came to me. She has breast cancer. So we started chemo, we started planning. She got pregnant. So we told her we have to like abort because it's going to affect the baby. And she's like, "No, I don't want to abort the baby. I'll keep having this baby and I want this baby." He's like, "She disappeared and came back afterwards. We checked for tumors. There was no tumor there." And he was like, "That was mind blowing." I asked her, "What did you do?" And she's like, "I would wake up every day, like after the mid of the night, and pray or meditate."
Correct.
And that's a medical doctor, and that's like another religion, another country. So he's like, "I don't know what happened. I don't have explanation, but that's
Correct.
something stuck with me."
Yes. So we try to find rationality in this no explanation state. That's what we
Yes.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. In fact, another case again from the US, which also is very dear to my heart, is about a medical doctor who wasn't conceiving in spite of the best of her efforts. And she did the program. And strangely enough, the game changer was we found something in the ovaries, which took us back to the time when she was a kid,
Oh,
where she's actually praying to God. Typically in our culture, in Hinduism, there's a lot of focus on liberation. Like, this whole
yes.
earth is, you have to live it, it's an illusion, but the real heaven is up there. And you
Yes.
get trained by your parents to pray.
Yes.
So she's almost praying on a daily basis, saying, God, liberate me from this life, liberate me from this life.
Oh, oh,
Now, if you want liberation, there is no way you can conceive a child because the
that
child will keep you engaged in life. You,
that's
you cannot have a child and also then ask for liberation. And it was funny because once we did that process, yeah, I think in a short period of time, she conceived. That kid is now 3 years old. So it's just about understanding how powerful thoughts and emotions that you may have forgotten,
yeah.
but land up staying in your body and influence basic processes, which you're
Yes.
not aware about. And then
It's
that's what we do.
it's very hard day to day. You have to remind yourself, but it's doable.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
So
what we call as miracles is a combination, of course, belief and faith,
mhm,
but eventually finding the answers in your own world inside of you, because you are your own world. Everything that's happening to you is a byproduct of you. There is nobody else outside that's calling the shots.
yeah, but say like if you pray that you know in your heart that thing happened already.
Correct. That's the most basic premise of hypnosis.
Yeah. Yes.
We
Yeah.
make it happen in the mind and it
Yeah.
happens in the body. In fact, one of the places that I teach in Delhi has a hotel that's established by a very famous Indian mountain climber. I think he was one of the first or second Indians who climbed Mount Everest.
Mhm.
So in his hotel, he's got all these pictures and, memorabilia of all the people who've done the Everest. And like we know, the
Yes.
first person ever to climb was Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. These are the two people who climbed. So there was this interview of Edmund, and the interviewer asked him, so when you decided to climb the Everest, were you not, awed by the fact that so many people have tried and failed? And then he came out with a very beautiful line. He said, over the last 6 months, in my mind, I had already done it.
Yeah.
Just a question of my body. And I
Yeah.
knew that this was going to happen. So it's following that kind of paradigm.
Yes, it's like weird that humanity is very diverse. Like humans are very diverse, but they share the same principles. Yeah. Since you talked about mental, how hypnotherapy addresses mental and emotional and physical issues.
Okay. So essentially, to maybe give you a very simple example, which applies in all the three cases. If we look at the human system as a computer,
Mhm.
in a computer, we have a hardware, we have a software, and we have a power supply. You need all the three for the computer to work.
Yes.
When we bring the same model to the human system, our body becomes the hardware, itself useless, dead men tell no tales, it's only hardware. So to make this work, we need a software program. That's where our mind comes in. The way we think, feel, logic, analyze, rationalize, the invisible part of us,
Mhm.
invisible reality, as you
Yes.
call it. So
Yes.
is the invisible reality. It's there, but without it, you can't see it. If you take
Yeah,
it out, then everything is unreal because you won't have a body also very quickly.
that's true.
And then the power supply, of course, is the prana or the life force that actually keeps you alive. Now, the complicator for the human computer system is in the formatting of time. So when we think of age, most of the times that age relates to the biological age of the body.
Mhm.
So if you were to eat the best foods in town, organic, holistic, antioxidant creams, amino acids, omega-3 capsules, if you go to a laboratory that does carbon dating, they would immediately tell you, you know what, this cell is X years. You can't change that. So for your body, time is here and now. But
Yes.
for your mind, time is eternal.
Yes.
There's a past that you sometimes remember, sometimes don't. There's a present and there's a future. Now, if the mind running the body was of the same age, you would be in
Here.
what we call as mindfulness,
Yes.
here and now.
That's my next question.
Okay. So mindfulness is having age of the mind and age of the body in alignment.
Yes.
But whenever there is an issue, and now that can be physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, financial, doesn't matter. In that particular area, the safest conclusion that you can draw is that the mind running the body in that area is not of the same.
Mhm.
And then the only question is, so which mind is it? Well, it's either a younger you. So, for example, as a child, your parents were not having a good marriage and you concluded this is the shittiest arrangement in town. People don't like each other,
Yeah.
but just they're stuck because of you. And that makes you even more guilty because if you were not in the picture, they would have quit.
Sometimes the parents say it, well, I'm here in this marriage just because of you.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
now the child grows up with again a deep rooted conclusion that marriages never work.
Yeah.
And now you grow up and now you try to get a partner because we all try to get partners. Then chaos happens.
Yeah.
Nobody will last because as a child you've decided. So our big bugbear in life is that most of the conclusions about life that we draw in the first 6, 7 years are things that we forget.
Yes.
But the body doesn't forget because it gets imprinted inside your system. And then obviously, with all the research that is happening in the psycho-neuro axis, we now have increasing evidence in quantum physics that tells you that reality is created by your DNA and DNA is influenced by your feeling and feelings are influenced by your conclusions. So if you've forgotten those thoughts and conclusions, but those feelings are in the DNA, the trauma is going to play out full time.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you regret like the feeling. I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
mean
there.
it. I didn't mean it. It's gonna
No,
happen.
yeah, it's going to happen. It's there. So that is a younger you. And then, of course, we have this whole plethora of ancestral programs,
Yes.
which we don't even know, but they just get passed down through culture, beliefs. Some great grandfather concluded that money is evil. You tend to procrastinate. You don't work hard if you get money. And now, a couple of generations down the line, it's the same problem. And you can't figure out how people around you are doing crypto and pressing two buttons and
Yes.
making money. And here you're slogging your backside off. And easy money never comes to you, but
Yes.
it's just coming down. So there are all these programs that are embedded in the system. And the trouble is they appear to be mental, but they
Yes.
have access to your DNA.
Yeah.
And then it becomes brutally physical.
So, mindfulness, how is mindfulness or how do mindfulness and meditation complement hypnotherapy and achieving personal transformation?
Okay. So when we talk of mindfulness or meditation, essentially the idea is to try and stay in the present. In the present, there is no ego
Hmm.
this moment because your ego is completely a function of either your past
Or
or
future?
your future. Now, if you are mindful, you are egoless.
Mhm.
If you are egoless, you don't have feelings and emotions. So if you don't have trapped feelings and emotions, you're not feeding new raw material to create new drama, which is
Yes.
what meditation eventually helps you to do. So when you say calm your mind, still your mind, slow
Mhm.
down, what are we trying to do? We're trying to become Zen.
Mhm.
Why? So that we don't create new things that we will only have to sort out. Because on earth, there is no free lunch for anybody.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
create something, you have to uncreate it. It's your problem.
Yeah. The thing is, mindfulness, do like the effect of mindfulness. Let's say I'm trying to meditate and being mindful. So, is the effect in the moment of me trying to do that, or does it extend to long time?
Fair enough. So it starts momentarily. You start to make the habit.
Okay.
Then its effect starts to percolate.
Okay. Okay.
So initially, when you start to meditate, for example, for the time that you're meditating, your mind is calm.
Mm.
Moment you get a phone call, you're back into chaos.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, as your habit develops, anything you do consistently for 21 days is the start of a habit.
Yeah.
Anything you persist with for 40 days becomes your go to nature. And if you
Mhm.
persist for 90 days, then that's it. It's like a wall. So if you do it consistently, then it will become you, in which case its effect will be much longer.
Okay.
New way of life.
Okay. And how do you explain the scientific principles behind hypnotherapy, particularly how the mind influences the body and vice versa?
Okay. So essentially, right now, if I tell you look up, it will be very easy for you to look up. No
Mhm.
problems.
Mm.
If I tell you clap your hands, you can clap your hands. But if I ask you slow down your heart, difficult. Not impossible, but
Mm.
difficult.
Yeah.
Change your blood pressure. Now that's close to impossible. Change the rate at which you're digesting food.
Oh, that's for me, that's very impossible.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you see,
Yeah.
yeah. So you suddenly realize that all our control, your control, my control, all our control is outside the skin. We have almost no control inside the body. Like
Yes.
even for example, the desire to go to the loo. Now you can control it for some.
Mm. Yeah.
After that, no
Yeah.
control. You have to
Yeah.
go. So everything about the body is controlled actually by a system that's inside the body, not outside the body. And you have zero awareness of this.
Mm.
This is why it's called the subconscious mind, because your awareness of this software is almost non existent.
Mhm.
Now, tragically, that's the same area that is also your storage. So,
Mm.
all your memories are also stored in the same software that's handling your organs. This is where the problem is. So, the
Okay.
moment you store bitterness in the system, life is unfair, you feel bitter about it, that entire repressed feeling will have a tendency to go and get stuck in the pancreas. Then it will start to slowly influence the production of insulin. Then one day you wake up to find out that you have insulin dependent diabetes and you start orally take insulin because your life is extremely bitter. So when you
So
start to understand form, structure, function of the organs, you'll also figure out the form, structure, function of what makes the organ.
yes,
And it's a very logical approach, which a lot of research nowadays is happening in that area. You know,
yeah,
these correlations between trapped emotions, organ breakdown.
yes. It's a very I think it's interesting to read those researches. To be honest, I'm gonna look after the podcast. So, how does hypnotherapy bypass the conscious critical faculty to access the subconscious mind, and what role does suggestibility has in this?
Okay. So essentially, there are different protocols of putting people into a hypnotic trance. The one that we follow in, so for example, even when you meditate, you are technically going into hypnosis.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Just the difference is that in meditation, like entering a swimming pool from the side of the pool, in hypnosis, you're going up a diving board. So
Oh.
the results are much more mappable and
Mhm.
more precise in terms of depth.
Mm.
Oh, the swimming pool is the same for both. Now, how do we get people up the diving board? Essentially, we follow a very simple protocol of overhang the system. So, if we go back 30, 40 years when MS-DOS was the disk operating system for computers, where you
Yes.
had personal big white computers with C dot dot backslash backslash,
Yes.
and you have to type a path to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And one of the things we used to do as kids was keep pressing enter fast, very quickly.
So
Just, yes, the cursor would go down and then it would hang.
yeah.
And that was the big time because you had beaten the computer's processing speed. So you pressed Alt, Control, Delete, and rebooted the system. That's what we do. We overload the conscious mind with messages,
Mhm.
uses a temporary freeze state. And the moment your conscious mind gets a little frozen, by default, the flight mechanism which is inside of us will activate, which
Yes.
gets us entry into the subconscious. And what we're trying to do there is locate the trapped emotions that are stuck in organs, get them out of the system so that the natural healing of the body will take
Happen.
over and
Yeah.
get the organ back into its rightful shape.
Awesome.
And also, there's another very important aspect to this reef. Why I have been very drawn to the fact that I wanted to be very present in Houston.
Mhm.
Houston, for example, is whether we like it or not, good or bad, the truth remains, it's one of the most embedded structures, not just in the US, but in the world of medical technology.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest medical city. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, this is strange, but in quantum physics, there is a very straight conclusion which says that reality is influenced by the perception of the observer.
By the perception of who?
Of the observer.
Ah, of the observer.
Person who observes the reality influences the reality.
Mm.
The Nobel Prize in Physics 2022 has gone to research that proves that the world is illusionary without an observer. It's the observer who makes reality. Now, this line has been with me for the time I came into hypnotherapy because for a doctor and a patient, the doctor is seeing the patient in his reality.
In the doctor's reality.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, means the doctor's awareness has the possibility of influencing the reality.
That's
So even if a doctor mentally understands, mentally, he doesn't need to do hypnotherapy
Mhm.
necessarily on the patient.
Mm.
But even if the doctor understands, which is what a lot of good lifestyle doctors do, where they will ask you these subtle questions, which will guide you to what you're thinking and why you're getting stressed. Even if the doctor understands this, that there's a software program behind this, the patient's ability to recover shoots. And
So
that's why I want this awareness percolate to the medical field. We need doctors to see patients differently, not
um
as robotic computers that have
yeah. Well, I'm so happy that many doctors, I'm not, it's not enough, but it's like a really good number of doctors are heading to other modalities. And hypnotherapy is like on the top. Even Dr. Sonia the other day told me two doctors, or like a doctor and a nurse practitioner, joined
All
level one.
in
Yeah,
level one. That's
yeah.
correct. Yes.
That makes me happy. How does dissociation theory of hypnosis, which suggests the separation between conscious and unconscious process, apply to your practice?
So essentially, when we practice this, we don't knock the conscious mind out fully, because eventually, who needs to heal?
The person.
Just mind needs to heal.
Yeah.
Your awareness has fear. Your awareness feels that you're not confident. Your
Mm.
awareness knows that I have insulin dependent diabetes. Your awareness knows that I have a block in the heart. So I need the conscious mind to be aware
Okay.
with what is stored in the subconscious. So when we do hypnosis, we dissociate the two states. We keep the conscious mind in an aware state. It is watching what the therapist is doing in the subconscious mind. And it is that awareness that says, oh, I now get it. So this asthma that I've been having from the time I was a kid
Hmm.
has got triggered because as a child, I slipped into a swimming pool. I had completely forgotten that.
Oh.
And that's now got embedded in my subconscious mind. So when I see water, I just feel breathless because there's a repressed memory that I've completely forgotten of slipping into that pool. And
Yes.
I just know that when I see water, I feel breathless. So conscious mind now sees, oh, I get it. So when I was a kid, I slipped in a pool. I almost drowned and it stayed with me. And that's the reason why I now fear water. And that's when the therapeutic interventions happen.
Oh.
Um, correct. So that we can restore back to the conscious mind ability to choose with freedom once again. That's the
So,
end of whole therapy.
what about when, let's say, you don't have fear of water, but then suddenly you're like 30 years old and you start being scared of like seas, beaches,
Correct. So that means something around that time in the current life happens that triggers per memory.
like
Like, for
past
example,
life.
an ancestor that drowned or something.
Oh,
You have had no problem till 30. And then at 30, when you go, a mishap happens, you slip, you fall. Now, ideally, that should not create such a big trauma. But
yeah.
in that moment, that activates a much deeper file. And then
And
you're dealing with two headaches with
yes.
one figure.
So those memories are printed in the DNA.
Correct. That's right.
Oh my God. What scientific evidence supports the hypnotherapy and for conditions like anxiety, depression, chronic pain?
Yeah, strangely, British Medical Association was the first medical association in the world to, and this happened in 1955, to acknowledge and accredit hypnotherapy as a valid therapeutic modality that could work for all the things that you spoke.
No,
All of
that's
it.
1995.
1955.
Oh, 55.
The American Medical Association accepted this in 1957.
Mm.
So over the last 75 years, almost 70 years, we have the American Medical Association on record accepting that hypnosis works very effectively in all the three things
Mm.
you mentioned: anxiety, depression, management of pain. And if you research, there are tons and tons of papers that have been published in medical journals giving the efficacy of the protocol. The only thing that's been not documented deeply is issues with the physical body. So,
Yes.
for example, with IBS
Mm.
specific, there's loads of papers published explaining the efficacy of working with hypnotherapy and Crohn's disease or irritable bowel syndrome.
Because IBS, like, you don't have a reason, you don't have a cause.
Exactly. So you get the point here.
Yes.
So
And
the moment you can't find a logical cause is when the illogical entry happens, which is when the subconscious mind comes.
but there is like, it's a logical cause, but I have not seen one patient who has multiple sclerosis that had no trauma before that. Like had trauma happen and then they find out they have
Correct.
MS.
I've worked with MS, so I'm aware of this. And we
Yes.
have, yeah, this is 2007. We arrested, the person went off medication. That was a big thing.
Yeah. They don't have a typical medication. It's all trial for MS.
Whatever it is, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know why in those 70 years, the use of hypnotherapy in medical field has regressed.
No, I think that's largely because of the fact that the erroneous assumption that began was hypnotherapy getting projected as an alternative. It was never an alternative. It was
Mm.
a complementary science. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, if you tell a medical doctor, look, this will replace your practice, no doctor is going to be at peace with that.
Yeah.
Logical, no, because how would you accept that? So for it, and it's been strange that in my life, perhaps because my intent was so clear, to address loads of medical colleges, oncology societies, cardiovascular organizations. And I always mention that hypnotherapy is an adjunct to medical intervention.
Yes.
Today, if
Yeah.
somebody comes to me with a cancer, will I say, do not take radiation or do not do chemotherapy? Absolutely not. Because the medical world must do what it has to do. What can I do? Number
Yeah.
one, I can ensure that your white blood cell count would fall after every chemotherapy cycle will not fall.
Mm.
I can ensure that your hair fall gets minimized. I can ensure that you don't have nausea when you're taking. Long and short, I can make the intervention way more powerful because half the side effects can get eliminated by working with
Yeah.
the mind.
Yes. Yeah. And does that work for anxiety and depression, like patients
Absolutely.
on medication?
So, unless, of course, people are in a very chronically bad state, like advanced
Right.
schizophrenia or,
Oh yeah.
things like that, where there are now issues in the hardware, there are issues in the brain, where
Yes.
chemical imbalances have become so bad that just a software intervention is not enough. Then we are
Mhm.
in a little bit of a gray area. But for anything that's at the start of a process, people are not like addicted to medication. Can we get them into a healthy space? For sure we can.
But I mean, like, since we're working with the mind,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I'm taking antidepressant,
Yes.
so does that affect
Okay.
the hypnotherapy sessions?
So I understand the question. We look for, does the person have cognition?
Mm,
If you are on medication, but if
okay.
I'm having a chat with you, do you have enough cognition for you to follow my voice? Which is
Yes.
where we had a question that you had asked on suggestibility, which we didn't
Yes.
cover because I just went on with the flow. So suggestibility is how you take information in. Now, the not that I'm a psychiatrist, so I may not be the best person to give you a very authoritative answer on this. But
But
from
you have read so many researches. Like you're
but
a big knowledge, sea of
whatever
knowledge.
I understand of medical interventions with depression and things like that, yeah,
Mhm.
all of them seek to act as inhibitors. They cut off signals.
Yeah.
They slow your processing down, which is fine because they don't have another route to it. See, this starts as a software problem,
Mm.
which over a period of time becomes a hardware issue because it starts to influence the brain. And then you have a whole lot of imbalances that come with chemicals, which become a medically induced depression. So for us, what would be the sign that we can work with a person? Has something shifted in the person enough for them to seek our assistance on their own?
Has
Something
okay.
shifted enough in a depressed person to
That
seek
they
assistance on
okay.
their own.
Mm.
8 out of 10 you can work because that cognition is there.
Yeah.
It becomes a challenge if a depressed person has no interest in seeing a therapist, but his father or his son or his wife has heard of hypnotherapy and she brings it. Now
Yeah.
we are in a challenge.
Okay. So it takes us back to saying the willing to be. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So do you know of any emerging research or trends in hypnotherapy that you find most promising, and how might they shape the future of hypnotherapy?
Well, as I said, for me, my biggest focus, see, you will get what you look for. That's how the world is.
Mm.
The law of attraction tells you that.
Yes. Yeah.
So my primary focus has been the medical world. And so we have a lot of our students, because when people get certified, they need to do case studies
Yes.
because of the fact that we do have bias towards medical issues. We've now started getting cases at our end where cerebral palsies got reversed, not just one, couple of cases. So it's building, evidence is building, because that is something you cannot traditionally reverse at all. A
Oh,
lot of skin disorders, especially psoriasis, eczema, a lot of issues related to skin, which again, modern medicine really only gives you creams, etc., to
yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
we have patches that have disappeared fully. As I said, evidence is building up and we are keeping it in the back.
Yeah. That would be nice to have data collection and
Yes. Yeah.
uh,
We're on that job and because the whole idea is I do understand, it's strange that the very first time I came to US was 2016. I landed in Houston and
yes.
very first class in the US was in Houston. Then of course, life had different plans. Sonia needed to get in and then she picked up San Diego. Eka went to San Diego first and now we are back to Houston. So my sense is that over the next couple of years, we are going to see a lot more of data
Yes.
quantified to serve as a kind of wake up call.
Yes.
Again, I keep saying, like in a medical college, you have a department of anatomy, you have a department of, all these departments. We should have a department of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Some,
I agree. I
yes,
agree.
because if the doctors understand this, it will be a game.
Yes. And it's nice that a lot of doctors are trying to.
Well,
Um,
BTI is a testimonial. Your efforts and Dr. Cheng's efforts, Dr. Nelson's efforts, the few people I've met in PTI are, a very bright sign the universe gives us that the medical world is moving into safe hands once again. I was having a talk with Dr. Swami and he works in the ICUs.
yes.
And I used to keep telling him that, a hospital is like a place of worship.
Mm.
You
How?
go, when you go to a mosque or you go to a temple or you go to a church, think the feeling you get.
It's
Now, going to a hospital, it's actually a place of worship for the body. But
mm,
just see the mindset with which people come to the hospital. There's so much fear. There's
yes.
so much anxiety. There's stress. Now,
Sadness.
change.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that people walk into hospitals with hope, with joy. Because see, we have a body. It's like a car. It's like an aeroplane. You will need servicing once upon a time. Parts need to be changed. That happens.
Yes.
But if you get into change that part with joy, the plane is able to fly brilliantly. Most of the times, people come in with such a negative mindset to the medical system. That needs a massive overhaul.
Well, that's the same for physicians. Like when I graduated, I start working. I came with a positive and joy mental state, but then I was shocked because I
Absolutely.
felt like it's not what I wanted. I wanted to help people, to heal people.
Correct.
But what I saw is like we're just maintaining
Yeah.
and
How
yeah,
many doctors are actually happy? Which is so sad because you're doing life changing work.
yeah,
You're giving a fresh lease of life to people at the cost of your own life. How
yes.
many people, how many doctors can sit back and say, I'm so glad that I made this a career choice? And the number is not very high, which is
I,
sad.
I've yet seen anyone like, and not yet. Well,
Yeah.
maybe Dr. Chang, but not, yeah.
So that's my bigger picture. Like this tribe needs to connect back to life with joy. Because if our doctors start to live with joy, they will be able to translate this into the lives of their patients.
When you said connect, it hit me. PTI try to connect spirituality with the modern medicine and like energy, breathing work, hypnotherapy, which we really need in I think there has to be words or like places in the hospital for those providers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is my end game.
Result. Yeah. Yeah. We're your troops
Yes,
in
absolutely.
Houston.
Spot on.
Yeah. So, what challenges do you see in integrating hypnotherapy into mainstream healthcare? And how can these be addressed through future education, research, and education?
Well, so I think the biggest challenge has always been anything to do with the mind as, firstly, as you know, as one of those, unfortunately, this area of the mind and then psychology and spirituality and religion is so enmeshed that many serious scientific medical practitioners, the moment you talk of anything subtle, tend to dismiss it as, you know, it's
Mm.
all airy
Yeah.
fairy. That's the
Yeah.
term.
Yeah.
I don't want to use a derogatory term, but
Yeah.
it's not grounded in any scientific
Yes.
base. Well, the bottom line in all science is that all inventions and discoveries were once upon a time airy fairy.
Mm.
Somebody cracked it
That's
and
true.
it became a practice.
Yes.
The how does any scientific theory get validated? Number one, an abnormal event happens. So
Yes.
now what are we seeing? An abnormal event is happening. You're doing a session of hypnotherapy, a cancer tumor is disappearing. There's an abnormal event. Somebody is going for prayer, like that Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia example,
Yeah.
and suddenly a tumor has disappeared. An abnormal event is happening. So we can't debate that the event is happening.
Yes.
Now what happens? Science will create a theory, that this is because of this. Then you will try to test it. And if you can duplicate it, yes, you will qualify it as valid. Now, in the process of duplication, because the human mind is so diverse, the ability to collect consistent data over a prolonged period of time, it takes time, which is where
That's
the
true.
professionals will say, poof,
Yeah.
we don't have the data. But it will come. You have to keep patience and keep doing what we have to do. Keep walking.
But nowadays, we have like brainwave scans. We have a lot of things that
Yes.
can,
It proves.
or yeah, record the physiological changes in the state of hypnosis.
Absolutely.
I actually have a device. It's like something you put it on your head, and then it it teach you how to focus, and it's actually record the blood flow to your frontal
Wow.
cortex.
Neocortex, yeah.
Yes. So Ali is like, I want to try this in a hypnotherapy session. I want to see the state of mind. So the things, they are available. We can get use of them and apply it to hypnotherapy and see the data and everything. It's just the willingness and openness for
Correct.
the medical field educators. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, and we have to respect it because you see, change and transformation, when you come to a belief system, Reem, you cannot change people's belief systems by challenging it upfront because they get more defensive.
Yes, that's true.
So you have to first penetrate the existing belief system and then slowly make it expand, showing them why it is beneficial to expand the belief system. Which is why when I heard of PTI and I met Dr. Chang, I interacted with you all and I began to see how exactly that's what you all are doing. So you are following the mainstream belief system of the medical world. You penetrated it in your own way, and now slowly you're trying to expand it.
Expand it. Yeah. I had a question in my mind. It's not with my list of questions, but what challenges did you face in Dubai as it's a different culture, different religion? How did you get the approval of EKA Foundation to be a branch there?
So there was a couple of things that happened here. Firstly, when I went to Dubai in my awareness talks, I could very easily address the most basic bit that Islam follows, where they do not believe in past life reincarnation, because the Quran quotes that. And I can scientifically prove that is correct. That means I was on the right side of the basic
Yes.
religion and the country.
Yeah.
Straightforward. And I started with that. I
Mm.
started by explaining that. So I've actually had Hafizes sit in my class
Yeah.
and explaining every line that I teach in level 4, saying this is this couplet of the Quran, this is this couplet of the Quran, this is this couplet of the Quran. So fundamentally, I've never had a problem per se. Now that comes to the whole regularization. How did they approve the curriculum?
Yeah.
I had a meeting with the Dubai Minister of Education. This is in 2011 to get the curriculum certified. And he told me, Yuvraj, are you aware of, because I had local Emiratis were doing my curriculum by then.
Mhm.
One of them had already written a book on karma that was released by Sheikh Mohammed, who's the ruler of Dubai. So
Okay.
he's releasing a book on karma. So that tells you how
Yeah.
things actually move. Dubai, in fact, has a happiness minister. So they
Oh,
understand,
yeah, I know.
yeah, they understand this business as a different level.
Yeah.
Anyway, he told me a very pertinent thing. He said, whenever any science has to be validated, you have to do your job. When you become big, I will get alarmed. Then I will raid you. Then I will sit and talk to you to evaluate or evolve a system to regulate it. Don't worry about the certification. Teach. So I went on teaching and we grew. And
Mm.
sure enough, 6 years after that meeting, Illuminations had a PhD rate. Then they took over everything. Then we had a series of meetings. Then they studied how can this be formalized. Then accepted everything that we put. And in 2020, we got recognized as an international certifying organization, clinically allowed to teach education of hypnotherapy in Dubai as under the Knowledge and Healthcare Development Authority government of Dubai. That's how
Wow.
it.
Wow. That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it actually so happened. You can call this luck or whatever it is, but just about a year or 6 months prior to that, one of the ex PhD heads had actually flown down to Hong Kong me for a session,
oh.
and it changes the whole. This is the universe's way of preparing it, or you call it
Yes.
way. So then, when this protocol actually happened, I just spoke to him and he said, "Look, I know how what this will do. Just follow the rules, and this is how this will happen. They will find you first, then they'll call you for a discussion, and then it will approve. You'll get the money back. Go through it." That's what we went through it, and yeah, everything was fine. No problem.
Hopefully we get one here.
Yes,
Yes. I can see it. It happened in my mind already.
good. So we're walking.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Yuvraj, for your time and knowledge. Well, to be honest, I didn't have enough, but for the sake of time, we have to conclude our session and our podcast. And we hope we see you again in Metaphysics Talk. Let's say,
Yes,
yes, I would
this,
love to.
absolutely. This has been a pleasure, Reem, and thank you so much for hosting me. Always a joy. And I often tell my students that if you truly want to experience the divine, I know we go to places of worship because our culture teaches us that surrender, pray. But when you heal a client and the client comes out of a hypnotic trance, you can actually see God in the eyes of the person. Like I saw that in the eyes of so many of our students when they were finishing level one, and those shit happened when they came up for their certificates.
Oh my God, that's 7 days shifted. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
I actually, you keep getting this feeling that even if you have to die, it's fine because you did what you had to do. You're leaving the earth a better place than it was when you were born. That if we can all stick to that, do
Yes.
something that makes earth even little better.
Yeah, I think that's what attracts us to each other, like in the level. How did we come? Because everyone thinks I want to make it a better place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you
Fantastic.
so much.
Thank you, Reem. And thank you for your conviction in doing what you're doing. Congratulations to you. Double congratulations to PTI
Thank
for the absolutely amazing work that they're doing. And I'm sure we've just seen the beginning of this.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you for all the knowledge you spread. You making the globe is a better place. Life is a better place. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Reem. Good
Bye
luck. Bye bye.
bye.